think this is something that hasn't happened very often in the history of the University of Hawaii. Obviously, it's been 14 years since they made it to the NCAA Tournament. So to be on this journey, it's quite remarkable, especially how they did it. As the #1 seed in the Big West Tournament, everything they had to go through with this team. 3 coaches in 3 years. You had players leave the team within the season, and everything that happened. It's pretty remarkable to have them accomplish what they did.
It's been special. It really has. It's not like anything I've been able to do before with the basketball team. You know, going to Davis and then Long Beach, the last road trip of the regular season, which went straight into the conference tournament. Being around the guys that duration, 2 weeks and counting to this point. It's been pretty unforgettable when you take into account the men and the women's dual championships. It was a seminal moment in UH Hoops history, I feel, and it's not something you can count on happening, every year, especially given the men's sanctions that are on the table right now. The women's team hadn't been since '98. It just dovetailed at a perfect moment, I think, for the university with all the adversity that both teams, men and women, had fought through, and women being denied in the last few tournament appearances. So for the men, it was a really emotional breakthrough for both teams, really. And seeing that on their faces, I think, on the court after the game, and even in the days since, it hasn't really waned that much. You can see the energy and the excitement there.
It's bananas. And I think the biggest thing is court storming. That's something that does not happen in the history of UH basketball very often. So for that to happen at the Honda Center in Anaheim, beating Long Beach State the way they did, I think that's something that a lot of Hawaii fans will never forget. It's what this team has gone through. 3 coaches in 3 years, everything that they had to fight through in order to get to this place, and for it to come to fruition in the NCAA tournament, I think is something that will forever be remembered in UH sports history.
And to have them both triumph this year, there was something about the symmetry of 2 net cutting ceremonies. It was fabulous. I know there's people, even the fans are on the floor, we're getting a little emotional. It's great stuff.
These are guys that enjoy hanging out with each other. The bond is strong on the road in this kind of environment, I feel. I think that's something that's allowed them to thrive and be successful as they are. 10-2 on the mainland this season is very remarkable. There hasn't been a UH team to do anything close to that since the 02 team, the last tournament team. And that's kind of a hallmark of both teams, these NCAA tournament teams, because ultimately you do have to win on the mainland in order to be an NCAA representative out of the Big West or previously the WAC.
I think they know each other well. There's a kind of a feeling of confidence late in games that this group has. Some teams you can sense are wondering what someone's going to do to them. This bunch wonders what they're going to do to you. It makes a huge difference.
Eran Ganot has control of the team, but it's not an overbearing pressure on them. They know exactly where they need to be, when they need to be, and there doesn't seem to be any issues of anyone going beyond that or fraying from the pack. There's a team that knows exactly what the schedule is. They follow it, but at the same time, it's a calm atmosphere, and it's a family atmosphere. Over the last 2 weeks, it's been real interesting because it's almost like a family road trip. All the wives and kids from all the coaching staff is here, and all the players interact with the kids the way they do. It really feels like that a lot of us are tagging along on a family road trip over the country.
They sort of mimic, and many teams do though, mimic the head coach to some extent. There's not a lot of drama. They have fun, but there's nobody hitting the panic button.
It's something special about these guys. They just have the right mentality, I think. Starting with Coach Ganot and not getting worked up about where they are, when they're practicing, what outside circumstances are coming to affect the team. They just kind of do their own thing. They do what they do without a mind towards those outside factors.